finished the email. Read it once. Clean, clear, professional. You hit send. Later that day, a colleague sent something. Different situation, different topic. But something about it felt the same. Same rhythm, same kind of phrases, same way of landing at the end. You didn't say anything. Neither did they. But you noticed. Not what it said, how it sounded. Then you went back and read something you wrote about 8 months ago, before this became part of your process. It was rougher, less polished. But it sounded like you thinking, not like you writing. That version is still in there. You haven't lost it. But it's not the one showing up in your work anymore. And the strange thing? Nobody complained. The work got better, by every visible measure. So why does it feel like you're reading someone else? Here's what makes this hard to see. It didn't happen because the work got worse. It happened because it got better. You started using the tools the way you were supposed to. You let them clean things up, sharpen the structure, smooth the edges, and it worked almost too well. Every piece you sent was more complete than what you would have written on your own, so you kept going. And somewhere in that process, not at a moment you'd remember, the voice that used to come through started getting edited out. Not removed, just corrected. Every time something felt too raw, too specific, the part you almost deleted yourself, it got refined until it stopped sounding like it needed you. And what came out was clear, professional, effective. Exactly like what everyone else with access to the same tools was producing. That's the part nobody warned you about. Not that the tools would make you worse, that they'd make everyone sound equally good. And when everyone sounds equally good, the thing that made you sound like you quietly stops showing up.
Before we begin, if you value quiet, thoughtful content like this, subscribing helps this channel grow and makes it possible to keep creating videos without noise or hype. Thank you for being here. Now, let's begin.
This isn't about using the tools less. That's not the point. The tools aren't the problem. And going back isn't the answer. But there's something worth looking at here. Because this is the part almost everyone skips now. The people producing work that still feels like someone made it, not just something generated, they're not fighting the process. They're not doing everything manually. They're not romanticizing the rough draft. They just didn't give one part away. Not a technique, not a step. Something that happens before any of that. Before the first word gets written. Before the tool opens. A moment before anything helps you. Where you still have to come up with it yourself. And the ones who kept finding that moment, their work still sounds like someone is home.
Think about the last thing you wrote that someone remembered. Not complimented. Remembered. In fact, it usually isn't the polished ones. They brought it up later, quoted it back to you, said, that thing you wrote about, not because it was perfect, because it was specific, in a way only you could have been specific. You used a comparison no one else would reach for. You noticed something in the corner of the situation that most people walk past. You put it in there, not because it was the smart thing to do, because you couldn't not put it in. And that's exactly the part that's hardest to generate. Not the structure, not the clarity, not even the argument. The specific thing that comes from having lived inside a particular point of view long enough to see something no one else would think to look for. That That's not a style choice. That's not a personality quirk. That's the part of the work that makes someone feel like they're hearing a person, not reading a document. And the question isn't whether the tools can do that. The question is whether you're still doing it.
Here's where it gets harder to see. Because the work that comes back looks right. It uses your industry's language. It matches the tone of your field. It covers the points that should be covered. And when you read it, you can't find the mistake. And that's exactly why it passes. That's the problem. It's not wrong. It's just not from anywhere. There's no friction in it. No moment where you can feel that someone had to decide something. A point where someone had to choose and didn't default to the obvious. That's what disappears first. You can feel it when you read it. You can't always name it. But it's the difference between work that informs and work that lands. And here's what's changed. The tools are very good at removing the need to decide anything at all. Clean, complete, defensible, but no decisions. And when you stop making decisions in your work, not wrong ones, not controversial ones, just yours, the work starts to feel like it came from nowhere. Because no one had to put themselves into it.
If this feels familiar so far, not as information, but as something you've been dealing with, we keep a growing collection of prompts, tools, and simple frameworks designed to help you think more clearly, start more easily, and work better in this environment. We add to it over time. Nothing overwhelming, just practical resources you can return to when you need them. If you want access, you will find it in the description. Now, let's continue.
Here's the part you can still feel. You already know when it's happening. Not always in the moment, but after. You send something, and there's a version of you that already knows whether you were in it or not. Not whether it was good, whether you were there. That's a different question, and most people have stopped asking it. Not because they don't care, because the work got done, and that felt like enough. But the people whose work still lands, they haven't found a technique. They haven't added a step. They just kept asking that question. Was I actually in this? Not to judge the output, not to second guess the process, just to notice. Because noticing is the part that can't be outsourced. The moment you read something back and feel whether you're in it, that's still yours. It was always yours. It just got quieter as the answers got faster. And the ones who kept listening for it, even when the work looked finished, still sounds like it came from them. Not just something that got produced.
When was the last time you read something back and felt like you were actually in it? There's a version of your work that only you can make. Not because you're more talented, not because you work harder, because no one else has lived exactly where you've lived, seen exactly what you've seen. And that specificity, the thing that makes your work impossible to fully replicate, it doesn't disappear when you use the tools. It just stops showing up when you stop putting it in. That's the part you don't want to lose. Not because you should, because you can feel when it's gone. It's the only question that still cuts through.
If you made it this far, it means this topic matters to you. In the next video, we continue building on this with clearer understanding, practical perspective, and ideas you can actually use. Following the channel really helps us keep developing content like this and adding more resources over time. The next video continues from here. You can watch it now.